Blog Talk Radio.
We are the UR Tennis Network. Our mission is to be the voice of tennis. We enlist a team of passionate enthusiasts to promote our sport. We strive to bring interesting perspectives on the many spins of tennis. Our goal is to provide the learners of our sport with current news and information from many angles. We seek active participation from communities interested in tennis, but tennis is not interested in them. We are expanding our outreach. Tennis is a true lifetime sport that needs to be talked about, and the UR Tennis Network pledges to pursue this idea relentlessly.
Good morning and welcome to the Parenting Aces radio show on Blog Talk Radio's UR Tennis Network. I'm your host, Lisa Stone, and I'm coming at you from a very rainy Atlanta day. We have had just yuck tennis weather in Atlanta the last few days. Luckily, I got some tennis in over the weekend. It was freezing, but at least the courts were dry. Not so today. So I am holed up in my office and watching some tennis reruns on the Tennis Channel and looking very forward to today's show. We're going to be talking with Boise State head men's coach Greg Patton today about his experience coaching the International Collegiate Championships team from the U.S., and he took them over to France to compete, where they kicked it and just did really, really well. And I'm hoping that we'll also have at least one or two of the players from that team joining us on the air as well. Just a reminder, the show runs live for an hour. At the end of the hour, we do go into podcast mode, and you'll be able to listen to that podcast starting later today on the radio show tab at ParentingAces.com or on our YouTube channel, the Parenting Aces YouTube channel. And so I hope you'll share it with your friends. It'll be online later. And what else do I need to remind you of? The Australian Open starts this weekend, and I just urge you all to set your DVRs if you don't want to wake up in the middle of the night to watch the matches live. There's going to be some amazing tennis, and we've got some great juniors over there competing as well. So I know Colette Lewis of Zoo Tennis is going to be keeping us up to date on those results, and so I urge you all to follow her on Twitter. It's just at Zoo Tennis, and she's really amazing at keeping the results up to date. So that's exciting. I'm happy for the 2015 tennis season to get underway. So I'm going to go to a quick commercial. When we come back, hopefully I will have Coach Patton on the line. He's having some issues this morning, but if not, we will get started anyway, and we'll be right back after this break.
Warning. Orthopedic surgeons are seeing an increase in overuse injuries when young athletes perform the same repetitive, stressful motions over and over. Pitching, tennis, weight training, even long swimming workouts can cause overuse trauma that may require surgery. If your kids play and train hard, visit orthoinfo.org or stopsportsinjuries.org. A message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons and the American Orthopedic Society for Sports Medicine.
Welcome back to the Parenting Aces radio show on Blog Talk Radio's UR Tennis Network. I'm your host, Lisa Stone, and our guest today is Boise State men's coach Greg Patton. He has had a bit of a delay in joining us on the air, but I think one of his players who joined him in France for the International Collegiate Championships is on the line, so I'm going to bring him on in just one sec. I just want to remind you guys, if you'd like to call in and chat with us, we'd love to hear from you. That number is 714-583-6853. Again, 714-583-6853. So hopefully you will call us and check in and let us know what's going on in your corner of the world. I'm going to see. I think this is maybe Nate Pasha on the line. I'm going to check in. Nate, is that you? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Nate, is that you?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you. For some reason, you're showing up twice in my in my little inbox here on my online studio, but no worries.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's probably my fault.
It's no big deal, no big deal. So Nathan is a player at the University of Georgia. He is a local Georgia boy. We have been following his career for quite a while now. And Nathan, you got to go to France with Coach Patton this year to play in the International Collegiate Championship. How was that?
First of all, it was really cool. Just being in an environment with a few other, top college guys like Ty and Noah, along with the girls, and Coach Amanda was a good experience. You're just around successful people, and I was just hoping that they could all rub off on me, in the best way possible, and I could learn a lot, which I did. So, I was just really grateful for the trip.
That's awesome. I think Coach Patton is on the line. Let me see if I can bring him on with us. Coach Patton, is that you?
Yes, it is. Is that Nathan as well?
It is. It is.
Hey, Nathan.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going great, man. And it's so good to talk to you too, Lisa.
Thank you. Great to have you here. Sure. So Nathan was just saying, what an awesome experience it was getting to go to France with all of you and getting some tennis genius to rub off on him. I suspect some of his own tennis genius rubbed off on the others as well. But Coach Patton, why don't you kind of give us a little rundown on how this International Collegiate Championships came to be and how you got to be involved in it?
Great. Well, first of all, the main idea, and I'm so glad to hear Nathan's on the call and his thoughts. It's the whole concept of this team, and the whole reason for it is to make a dramatic impact on our players who have the potential and the dream and the drive and the talent to pursue this, to pursue tennis at the professional level, and ideally and hopefully, be able to be incredibly successful on the pro circuit, and then ultimately, represent the United States on the professional circuit as well as playing Davis Cup and Fed Cup. So the main emphasis with my job is to work with the men on the team, and I'm involved with the selection process and so forth. And then I help out with the women, and the women's coach is Amanda Augusta, and she does it basically. She assists me with the men, and so we help each other. So it's an incredible experience. And I guess more than anything, it's my whole emphasis and everything that I try to bring to this table is to make it a life-changing experience for these guys. It's something that will resonate in their lives, in their studies, and as well as in their career pursuit. And so we're pretty serious about the fact that we're looking for young Americans, who we feel that can go on and pursue this dream, and make the dream real, and do it in a structure with a team structure, and I truly believe that one of the intangibles of making a great player is somehow, some way creating a team environment so that they can thrive and flourish. So it's, to be honest with you, it's been incredibly successful, and I got involved 6 years ago. I used to be a national coach, and one of my main duties with the national team it started back in 1983. I was a junior Davis Cup coach for 4 years, and then it came about again 6 years ago when they asked me to be involved with this format, taking American college players and taking them overseas. So that's how it all transpired, and I did it in a heartbeat. And it's the first team I had. As a matter of fact, I had Stevie Johnson and Austin Krajicek and Irina Falconi, to name a few. And so it was really exciting. We won that match. We were down I think we were down 1-3, and so we had to win all three doubles, the women's doubles, men's doubles, and mixed doubles, to win the championship against France. And it was in Poitiers, and there was 3,000 people there, and it was just packed. and we came back to win that. So the fire in me really was ignited. It was so much fun, and it was such a great experience being with those players that I've been asked to do it for the last 6 years in a row. And it is, and probably Nathan can attest to it, it's been incredibly exhausting. The matches go on all day. We fly overseas and have to fight the jet lag, and sleep deprivation is a big part of it for me. But it's still worth it in every sense of the word. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. It's special, and and the whole idea is to make it just an incredible experience for the players. And we can. And also, it's a thing I really believe, which also translates to junior players and any players, is that if you want to grow, if you want to flourish, and if you want to improve, and you want to develop, one of the ways to do it, it's really simple, is make friends. And that's one of my main goals, is that once the players come in, that they make true, long-lasting friendships with their teammates and with the coaches, and that we use that as a foundation. Which they can take with them for the rest of their career.
That's awesome. Nathan, one of the things that I find so interesting about this whole concept is you're on a team traveling to France with players from other schools that you're going to be competing against during the dual season, and you're playing for UGA. I plays for Virginia, right? I don't want to mess this up.
Right.
Yeah, and Noah plays at Wake, and so talk about kind of that whole dynamic of being teammates for a short period in France and then coming back and knowing that you're going to see each other across the net during the dual match season.
First off, the tennis community is pretty big, but it's somewhat small, kind of in the sense that everyone knows everyone. So these guys, Ty and Noah, especially Ty, is someone I kind of grew up with. So it's pretty cool, that we're on the same team. But these are just guys that I just grew up knowing, and when we play each other, we're already very familiar with each other. So it's. It kind of adds more of a competitive aspect to it, I guess because we were on a team together and all that stuff. But, it's kind of one of those things where, we're good friends. We want to give each other a fair match. And then, it's just kind of like a let the best man win kind of thing. And then after that, you just kind of, whoever wins, and whoever loses, they'll eventually have to shake it off. And you just go back to being teammates or friends or whatever, 10, 20 minutes later.
That's great. So was this your first year, Nathan, to compete in this event?
Yeah, this is my first year.
And so talk about how this event differs from playing at Georgia, playing in the fall tournaments or playing during the dual match season, because you have lots of experience with both of those as well.
Yeah, I guess there are some similarities, especially when we played France this year, kind of in a dual match. You kind of have, a crowd either primarily for you or against you, and it's not really a neutral crowd. So when we played against France, there were some similarities. But really, as far as the energy, I feel like in dual matches there's a lot more energy brought, and there were tons of energy in the matches at France. So there was a lot of similarities. As far as differences go, was that your question? The difference between dual matches and playing in France?
Yeah.
Okay. To be honest, as far as differences go, really because there are a lot of international players in college too. So, to be honest, I don't really think there's that much of a difference other than the format that we played, because we combined guys and girls results in France compared to, compared to just having a team full of guys and just having a team full of girls in college. So, I honestly feel like there were more similarities than not, when it comes to comparing dual matches and going and playing, out in France as a team.
how was it playing mixed doubles? Because that's not something that happens during the collegiate season.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, that's right. Well, I was scheduled to play mixed doubles the last day against France, so I actually didn't get to play. I think Noah played the first couple of days. So I mean, it would have been fun to definitely play mixed doubles, and it looks like it was a lot of fun because I was scheduled to play with Chanel, and I actually lived with Chanel in Florida like a long time ago. So I mean, that would have been a lot of fun, and like playing mixed competitive is always fun because it's just something you don't really do a lot. I can't really remember the last time I played a mixed doubles match, but I wish I would have experienced it. But yeah, I mean, that's the mixed doubles aspect is definitely a different quality.
It's funny, I just published an article on Parenting Aces this week. My son and I are playing Alta together, mixed doubles, and we played our first 2 matches over the weekend, and we kicked back. We did really good, and we had so much fun, but we had never competed together on the same side of the net. So, for us, that was really fun.
Yeah, how does the whole, because my mom doesn't play tennis, and I know people that have been a part of, the father-son doubles, and mother-daughter, mother-son, or whatever, how is, family tennis? Is it easy to cope, I guess?
Well, when one player is so significantly better than the other, and the other understands that she is the weaker player on the court. It makes it difficult because I take direction very well from him on the court. I trust him to guide me appropriately, and and the age difference helps a lot too, because I can yell yours and he's going to run it down, and I don't have to worry. So
that's pretty funny.
That's fun. So, Coach Patton, you don't typically coach mixed doubles either. So, talk about that mixed doubles piece of the puzzle. Was that tricky, or just provided another level of challenge and fun, or?
Oh no, I have done it. I used to coach. I coached World Team Tennis for 14 years with the pros, and I had. Amy Fravers for 7 years. I had Zena Garrison on my team for several years. I had Andy Vodek on my team for several years in World Team Tennis, Ricky Leach. And that was always a big component of the match was mixed doubles. So I got kind of used to it. My sister was a college player, and I used to play with her. And I played a little bit with my daughter who played college tennis. So I kind of have that. I understand the nuances and of it, and I really enjoy it. And it's really, and there's a lot of things tactically that go on that are pretty fascinating. It's kind of like, for example, when the woman is serving, less times is really generating the return down the line against the man who's at the net. Because generally the man is going to be trying to be all over the middle of the court, especially when the female is returning. So there's different things that you can have a lot of fun with. And to be honest with you, in 3 of the 6 years that we played in the finals, or we've played it's been in the finals, the match has come down to the last match, which was mixed doubles. Because the way the format works, and I think the only difference is that in scoring and in college tennis, they have the clinch, or they have a clinch when the match is decided and you stop. And the only time they do that is in the finals of the Masters U. The other change is the fact that scoring that we don't do, they use regular scoring there. And in the doubles, you play doubles 2 out of 3. That in college tennis, we play the 8-game pro set. So, but in the mixed doubles, we ended with that match, and it's been incredible because it's really emotional, and that you have the man and the woman out there playing for our lives. Several years ago, we defeated France, and we had Daniel Nguyen from USC and Jackie Keiko from from Arizona State played to clinch the match. And then the first year, I think we had in the mixed doubles, I'm trying to remember, but I think it was Stevie Johnson and Arena Falcone were the ones that clinched the mixed doubles match in that match, which was 6 years ago, to beat the French. So it's a cool dynamic. I enjoy it, and the energy is so great, and it's it really engages the 4 other players that are not playing or watching them when you're playing that mixed doubles. So it was kind of fun, like in our first 2 matches this year. Noah played. Oh gosh, Nathan, who did Noah play with? I can't even remember. Who did we play with?
I think he played with Chanel both times.
Oh, that's right.
No. Sorry. He played with Robin the first time and then Chanel the second time.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
So
yeah.
It was fun. And to be honest, the mixed doubles creates a team bonding is the fact that at the very end that you play with that. Now, what happened in the first 2 matches against Ireland and the Russians, we had already won the match, and so it was. I guess you could call it was a dead match, which didn't impact our team advancing in the tournament. But it was a lot of fun, and the great thing was the mixed doubles against Russia. The Russian coach wanted to stop playing, and the Russian player, the male, wanted to keep playing, and so he came out with a fury and an intensity and wouldn't you say, Nathan? He was pretty intense in the match, and so it was really kind of fun to watch. It was fun to see how intense it was in that match. But did they play 2? I can't even remember this now. Did they play 2 out of 3 in that match against Russia, or was it a?
It was just the pro set.
Yeah, we shortened it. I think what they've done is the Masters used kind of in one area they kind of brought for the collegiate scene, and I think it was something that we recommended to them last year, is that once a match was determined that in the doubles, instead of playing it out, we would play a 8-game pro set. So they played an 8-game pro set if the match is a dead rubber. So that's kind of how it worked. But I like it. I love the mixed doubles. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, Nathan, this whole event happened the beginning of December. Were you done with finals yet, or did you still have that hanging over your head?
Yeah, no, I still had finals. I had finals the week after I got back from France. So I had to kind of get, special permission to take a week off and all that stuff so I could go play in France.
And was that tricky? I mean, you're dealing obviously with jet lag. There's a lot of intensity during the competition. Trying to balance.
Yeah, to be honest, it wasn't too bad. I just had to talk to my academic advisor, and she emailed all the teachers, and I talked to the teachers and just explained that I was leaving and why. I know all schools are different. I think Ty had to speak to the dean or the principal or something like that, and I didn't have to do that. So all schools are different, but I just had to talk to my academic advisor and then talk to my teachers, and everything was good.
That's great. And Greg, from your standpoint, when these kids are leaving so close to the end of the semester, what kind of guidance do you as the team coach give to them to manage this, week away and having to deal with the big time change and I mean, especially for the West Coast kids, it's even bigger time change. How do you get them ready for that?
It's you just kind of remind them about the importance of nutrition and sleep, and they're pretty. The great thing is it's not really they're pretty on it. I found that that's probably one of the reasons that they're the elite tennis players in our country. Is they're really well self-disciplined, and they have a good feeling for what needs to be done to be successful on the tennis court as well as back in the classroom. And I do know that in the past we've instigated study time and so on and so forth. It really wasn't that much of a need because these guys were on it. What does happen, and almost happens every year, is I have to maybe proctor a test, or Noah had to take an exam, so I proctored a test for Noah, and he took the test and then gave me the results, and I had to send it back to the teacher. So I facilitate sometimes their academic needs and demands, as a coach that's on the trip. And obviously being a collegiate coach, I have to do this with my own team here at Boise State. So these are things that are pretty natural. And so it's kind of like, when we travel with our team, with our collegiate teams, is understanding that. I think that's kind of one of the reasons the USTA likes a college coach to be involved, because we understand the landscape better, for example, than a national coach whose only job, they don't really, that's not much of a priority for them as a national coach. And I say it because I've been on both sides of it. I was a full-time national coach from 98 to 2003, so I understand the differences and the priorities change a little bit. But I kind of this whole thing with the Masters U team is I'm a big advocate that the pathway to become a world-class pro is through college tennis. And it's sometimes a controversial debate and arguments, but
Can I interrupt you 1 second, Coach? Can you say that one more time, really slowly and really definitively?
Yeah, I really feel that one of the greatest pathways to being a world-class professional is through college tennis. You have, basically, for several reasons, the top players in the world, their ages basically are around, for the men, it's typically 26, 27, 28 when they truly peak at their game. And you get you get kids that turn pro at a really young age, and a lot of them, they burn out. It's an incredible grind to play the challengers and the futures, trying to attain that elite level on the world stage of tennis. So I feel like the players like Nathan who go to college, who get an education, but who also are getting the training at a home location, which is the school that they go to. They use those facilities, which are probably the best in the world. They get access to a lot of support, coaches, nutritionists, academic advisors, sports psychologists, sports medicine, all these things on a daily basis. They get really world-class coaching. So many of the Division I coaches and even coaches at other levels are really, truly gifted and are incredibly passionate about what they do. So I really feel that this Masters U segues from this whole concept that college tennis has a lot of goals, and it's got a lot of things that it needs to accomplish. First of all, the education of the person, the whole concept of creating men and young women of substance in terms of in the complete package, which is educated, disciplined, goal setting, and also athletic, being able to develop their athletic skills to the maximum. So I feel that there's that bond, that there's that collaboration with the collegiate system, with people like Nathan who have aspirations to play professionally and have the ability to do it, and that what it can do is really kickstart their career, and especially when we can take them over internationally and play in an international event where they're treated like professional, where they're the officiating and the crowds and all the other things that go along with it really gives them a taste of it. So in addition, this Masters U tournament, this national team of collegiate players, is to whet their appetite. It's to excite them. It's to make it fun. I think one of the first things I told the team is, hey, I want you to make friends, and I want you to have the time of your life. I want this to be fun. I want you to just be able to play with freedom in your game and to be able to swing away, but you're playing for each other, too, which is really cool, which is the one thing that, if you just go out, the kids that go out and play junior tennis and they go out and play futures and then try to pursue, they never get that feeling where they're playing for their peers. They're playing for each other. And I think that's one of the greatest feelings for an athlete is that ability to play for each other, and that's the reason college tennis is so exciting, and that's the reason I think that's one of the intangibles. That is one of the gifts that college tennis gives to our players when they go on to pursue the professional, is that they have that concept of playing for each other. And it's exciting. It takes sometimes it creates pressures that they can learn how to handle. And it also, though, in some ways, it takes pressure off because you have people that understand them better than anybody else, which is their peers, who take the pressure off and they soothe the person. They make it a safe haven for the athlete.
That's a great point.
So does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. And Nathan, I know you've got to get to class, so I want to give you a chance to share this, but you, I'm sure, were tempted by the thought of skipping college tennis and going directly onto the pro tour. I know you have very strong family support. You have a twin sister, and you guys are all really tight. Can you share with us what helped you make the decision to pursue the collegiate route and to stay in college, and then what your plans are once you do finish at Georgia?
Yeah, definitely. So, so I trained at USTA for a few years in Boca Raton through my high school years, from 15 through 18. So at that point I was surrounded by a bunch of kids who only had pro aspirations, really. College wasn't really talked about that much. So being in that environment, I always thought that I was going to go straight pro, but honestly, after, the whole process through juniors, I knew that, honestly wasn't good enough to go pro right after juniors and actually hit the ground running and do really well. If I would have went pro right after juniors, I would have just needed I would have also needed a ton of support, money that I didn't have at the time. So, really just my game not really being where it needed to be helped me decide that I need to go to college, as a pathway to eventually play pro one day. So that's what really helped me make my decision. As far, as my decision of going to Georgia, it's the best, it's great going to college. The most important thing I feel, that has benefited me, is not really only just getting better in college, learning from Coach Diaz, Coach Flynn and all that stuff, but it's just really just growing up as a person and just learning just how to be proactive and go after things that that you want to go after, and you just really develop as a person, and you're able to actually approach playing on tour eventually one day in a mature way. Yeah, you kind of know what I mean?
Yeah. Have you been tempted though along the way to say, all right, my game's where it needs to be, I'm done here in Athens, to move on? Right. To be honest, no. The thought has never hit me. To be honest, I really want to graduate. Just in case, just because you never know. It's always good to have a backup plan. So I've always wanted to graduate and get an education first. Now don't get me wrong. I'm definitely, I'll be graduated after this year, and I'm really excited to go out and play next year and see how far I can go as far as the rankings go, and just see how good I can get in tennis. I'm definitely excited about that, but I really also wanted my education just in case. So I wasn't super tempted to leave college early. And you've really taken on a leadership role at Georgia. Not only with the tennis team, but in the university at large. How has that played into your on-court performance, do you feel? Do you feel all of that off-court college involvement has contributed to your success on the court, or has it interfered with it?
Yeah, well, no, it's contributed because the main thing is when trying to be a leader on the team, you're telling a lot of guys to do things a certain way, do things the right way, if you will. So, being a leader, all the guys on the team really kind of watch you and see how you respond to adversity. So being a leader, you can't, just break down as soon as adversity hits, or if you have a bad day at practice, you can't break down and kind of act out. You kind of have to set a good example. So it definitely contributes because having the title as a leader helps you, it puts pressure on you to do right all the time and actually, practice what you preach.
Right. So I would like to ask both of you is there a challenging aspect to, from the coach's side, having some players come in who are used to maybe a certain style of coaching from their college coach, and from the player's side, again, you're used to a certain style of coaching from Coach Diaz and Coach Glenn, having to kind of open your mind to a different style. Did that present a challenge for either of you? And if so, how did you deal with that?
So is your question how to like absorb information from different coaching styles, like the challenge of that?
Yeah, that's a much better way to Thank you.
Oh, sorry. No, I mean, no, you're good. You just broke up a little bit, so it was hard for me to understand. But yeah, for me, like I feel pretty receptive to all different kinds of coaching styles, whether a guy is super intense, whether a guy's laid back, whether, like I've had coaches that were kind of more micromanagers, like they're always on top of you, and I've had coaches that kind of like sit back and try to wait for me to figure things out before they say stuff. And to be honest, the best coaches that I've had have been really good communicators, like in the way that they pretty much they find like 16 different ways to say one thing or try to to say one concept or whatever. So they kind of like figure out what phrase they could use clicks for me, and then they'll keep using that. So the best coaches that I've had are really just good at communicating in general. But as far as like different styles of whether a coach is laid back, intense, or whatnot, it's different for everyone. It doesn't really matter to me. But I know guys that have certain coaching preferences. But I'm really flexible. As long as like coaches can like clearly articulate themselves in different ways to kind of get their message across to me, then that's perfect.
Great. And Coach Patton, I mean, is that one of the reasons you'll pick Nathan, because you knew that about him, and would that be an attribute that you would look for in future team members?
But we do a lot of, to be honest with you, a lot of research and homework about the type of guys that we would want on the team. Nathan has an unbelievable great reputation, and I think one thing that I mentioned to players, is that my philosophy strongly, I mean, it's the foundation of my coaching, is that great people with great values, great dreams, great respect for self-respect and great respect for others, people who do it the right way, that are ethical, that have substance, that they make great teams. So great people make great teams. And then the final thing is that a great team makes great players. And so the whole point is, the thing that attracted us the most about Nathan not only was his potential, his ability, his results, but also the fact that he's a great person. He's a great person to be around, and I mean, I envy Manny in the sense that he gets to be with him daily, because it was such a joy to be with him and to be able to be involved in this journey together. So that's the first thing. I think the one thing that, when you talk about I definitely have a different, I definitely have my own style. I definitely bring who I am to the to the equation. I don't try to change. I basically can't, let's say, adapt to players. I got to be who I am, be as honest as I am, and to let the players know, ultimately, more than anything, that I truly care about them as a person and as a player, and I really want to see them be successful. And what I'm trying to, I think that great coaches, in some ways, I'm not only a coach, but I'm an educator. So I really want them to somehow, some way feel that after this experience is that somehow I've contributed to them in a life, as a life skill, and that will go with them through the rest of their journey. And also, I guess the main thing is I really want to make it, fun for them. Is make it, like I said, a really great experience for them. So I think that's the kind of the bottom line. I think some ways we take it a little, the thing that's so different about the Masters U is we're together for probably around 8 days, and it's an intense 8 days, but we're together 24/7, and but the whole what they bring on the court with their game, I don't try to do any changing with them. I just kind of make sure that tactically that we're together and that we're prepared, and that I let their games flourish, and I try to. I talk to all their coaches personally, and I've seen a lot of them play, because I have really a strong idea of how their game is and what they do successfully. So what I try to do is make sure that they play their game, that they don't really, you don't change things. If anything, you just try to smooth things out and make it a great experience. So that's, but the dynamic is really powerful, and I think the person to go on a trip like that has to really, the one thing that's really cool about it is, and I like doing, is you have to make a connection. There has to be a connection between the player and the coach. And we go into that right away. I think team building is a big thing, and ideally and ultimately I do a lot of team building on that trip, and in really subtle ways, and just like going on a bus ride, getting, at dinner time. We used to always there was always some time during the day that I would try to slip something into it about team building. We met every day, talked every day, and got everybody also to, and the most important thing about team building is that the players basically become authentic and about who they are and what they're trying to do and who they are. And it's not about changing anybody. It's about, we want to see how authentic they are. And then all of a sudden they realize we're in the same boat together, and that they truly get to the point where they play and grow from each other.
Right. I followed y'all's trip pretty closely through social media, and the pictures were phenomenal. I loved seeing every picture. Everybody was joyful and excited and happy. Nathan, besides the tennis, what was the best part of the trip for you?
Let me think. After this question, I probably got to get to class. But
I know.
But as far as the enjoyable part about the trip, I'd probably have to say like the way that the people in France promoted tennis. Like in America, like tennis is maybe like the 5th, 6th, 7th like popular sport, but over in France, like maybe like the 3rd or so most popular sport. So like they just they just value it a lot more, in my opinion, over in Europe, and they just go like the whole 9 yards to promote it and do everything they can just because they're about the sport and they're passionate about it. So to be in that kind of environment and to kind of like feel or to kind of like observe like the way that the French like culture like feels about tennis was really cool.
That's awesome. I'm gonna let you go. I do not want you to be late for class on my account. So thanks.
It is no worries.
And we'll be out cheering on our dogs this spring. So good luck during the season.
Thank you so much. We'll keep in touch.
Thanks. And Greg,
all right, good luck.
Thanks, Coach Patton. I appreciate it.
Greg, I know you have a meeting to get to as well, so I don't want to keep you, but is there anything that I haven't asked you about that you want to make sure to talk about before we cut this short?
Oh, wow, there's always a lot of things I like to talk about, but it's a marvelous, that experience, and the Masters U is incredibly marvelous. It's incredibly important, and I take such great pride in the fact that so many of our players have gone on and are pursuing their dream. And I think basically that's got to be one of the most important things that's got to be one of the most important tasks and goals for us in college tennis, that be it the coaches and the athletic departments and that is use this incredible venue of a sport, a great sport, and do it so it's life-changing and it's dynamic and it's fun, and it's you get to meet so many different people from different backgrounds, and it's just incredibly important thing and exciting and compelling. So I love every second of it, and I love the fact that I just want to make sure that every aspect of college tennis is that people understand the beauty of it and the importance of it, and this Masters U is just a small little part of it. I mean, in some ways, I wish we could take so many more players so that they have this experience to represent their country, which is truly an incredibly powerful gem that we get to have in our lives. You know, I've coached the World Junior Cup team for the 14-year-olds. I've coached, the sectional team. Where I've always kind of searching for those opportunities to coach teams. I coached the boys Intermountain team in the team championships in Champaign, Illinois every year, and I've done that for a bunch of years. And obviously I coach college tennis. I coach world team tennis. I coached the U.S. Pan American team in Cuba back, I can't remember how long ago, but I had Pam Shriver and David DeLucia, and a great team in those days. And so I see the value in the meaning of team events and how it really kind of resonates in the lives of the players. And it's kind of like with Andy Roddick. Andy was a great supporter and advocate for team tennis in the sense of especially Davis Cup. And that was something that really was important to him. And I always remember him saying to me that, so many times he wished he could have played college tennis, and had that experience, even just for a year. Sam Querrey has said the same thing to me, is that, he wished in some ways that he could have played college tennis to be able to be on a team and to play in a team format where your point, your match is important because it contributes to the success of a group of peers who understand you. Nobody understands a player better than another player.
Sure.
So
sure.
It's been. I'm seeing a lot of great players throughout the world are catching on to the fact that, hey, this could be my ticket. This is my ticket, and the bottom line is it's fun. It's fun, and you get a group of. That we spend in a lot of developing a great team. A lot of it is based on all the things you do away and off the court, and how those things really kind of really resonate in your life. So it's been it's really a cool thing. I keep telling my wife I think that's my last year. I'm going to go to France and do that, and every year I go back. And I want to do it again. It's as much as you don't sleep. I sleep probably 3 or 4 hours a day when I'm at the Masters U, because after the matches last all day. They start early in the morning. We get to the courts we wake up around 6:30. We're at the courts. We have breakfast. We're at the courts we play our match at night, but you got to prepare and get them, warmed up and get them see the physio, and then the matches last till around 7 or 8, because you start with singles, the girls singles and the men's singles, then you have time break for lunch, then you have the women's doubles, men's doubles, and finally the mixed doubles. So it is an incredibly long day, but it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. And every time I go back and I say, man, this is incredibly worth it.
That's awesome. Well, they're lucky to have you, and just from the interaction that I've had with you, I think that you were the perfect choice to take this group of kids overseas and be with them and coach them and show them this incredible life experience. So I appreciate so much your willingness to share all of it with us today, and all the social media posting you did during the event, all the photos and the tweets and everything was just so much fun to follow. So thank you for that. I lived vicariously.
Thank you. It's so much fun, and it's great. It's I kind of look at it like all this stuff too with teens is it's a fountain of youth. I'm so blessed. I get to be in this career that is that truly is a fountain of youth. I get to hang out with these guys, and I'll tell you one thing, like the social media, just a few years ago, I was the biggest geek in the world. I knew nothing how to do this stuff, and I didn't even know what a tweet was. And being around these guys, they teach you, the young kids, it's so easy for them. It's so natural. And so they've kind of helped me get with it with the world and stay, to stay current with what everything's going on, not only with, with media and with technology, but also just with music and social issues and all those things. So, dang, it's like Christmas time for every, it's like Christmas time for me with coaching college tennis and working with this national team. So it's really fun. So I really appreciate it. I really appreciate what you do. I think parents are a big factor in terms of helping being a support. I think I think they need to be educated about how to transverse this trail of being a parent and with these kids as they pursue their dreams. And so I love the dialogue that you create and the issues that you look at, and hopefully that it's a learning experience, because you truly do learn. I mean, I was a coach. I've been a coach my whole life. I didn't become a parent until I was 38 when my daughter was born, and I was 40 when my son was born. And I always figured I knew this whole idea about parenting because I had worked with parents for my whole career. And then all of a sudden I know I'm not only a coach, but now I have two kids that I wanted to turn them on to this game of tennis. And it's been quite a process and a journey for me, because I always have to check myself, how I'm doing this, if I'm being the right parent, if I'm being the right coach in dealing with these kids that play a game that's incredibly demanding and has a lot of pressure. And if it's done right, it can be a really great learning tool for them, and it's a great way, sports and tennis especially is a great way to build character and to build people of substance, and to learn how to handle great things and adversity and friendships and the whole deal, the whole kit and caboodle. So I'm a big advocate. If I had to do it again, I'd do it again in a heartbeat. And I think tennis is the greatest sport to play, and it has the most ability, and has the ability to be an incredibly educational force in terms of people learning about life, but most importantly about themselves. And so I really think self-knowledge is the heart of success, and people are truly learning who they are, what they are, and what their life's all about. So with that being said, I'm over and out. That's about it for today. I have to run as well. But I do want to say, I'm so grateful for what you do, and I really look forward to listening to more to your shows, and as well as hopefully seeing you again on the tennis trail.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be on the college scene next year, so I'm sure our paths will cross.
Okay, perfect.
Great.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. To my listeners, thanks so much for tuning in today. I had the pleasure to finally meet Coach Patton in person during Winter Nationals. He was there doing a little recruiting and a little watching and a little football viewing, I think, at the same time. And if you didn't get a feel for his energy and his passion for the game of tennis through this conversation, you get it within 3 seconds of being in his presence. He is an incredibly passionate, committed guy and loves the game, loves the sport. I'm sorry we didn't get to touch on the topic of him being a college coach for his own child. He does have a son who plays for him at Boise State, and so I'm hoping I'll get him back on the show at a future date, and we can talk a little bit about that challenge of being the collegiate coach for your own child. It's got to provide some interesting dynamics, I'm sure. But anyway, thank you all for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed our conversation. Nathan, if you're still listening, thanks for calling in and being with us, and best of luck to your Georgia Bulldogs this season. Coach Patton, best of luck to Boise State this season as well. And to all of my listeners, I hope you will take some time, take your junior player out to as many college matches as you can stand. They are so much fun. so much energy out on the court, in the stands, and go out there and support your local teams. They need you, and college tennis needs you. So have a great week, everybody. Stay warm, stay dry, and I'll talk to you next week on Parenting Aces.